Good afternoon, everyone. This is Mithun here. I would like to present today's, the TED Talk around something which is really close to my heart. At the same time, what I have been through for a couple of years after my college. I've been there, sit over there, listened to a couple of speeches, a lot of speeches, and then I've built something, and then kind of standing in front of you to deliver something on my own. Over years, what I thought or what I believe is life is not something that comes with a blueprint, right? I named it like Untitled. We are not gonna come up with any figurative title or speech of that manner today. It's gonna be Untitled. So likewise, for the next 15 to 20 minutes, we are gonna figure out what this TED Talk is all about, same as how we are going to figure out our life, or it could be our entrepreneurial journeys, or it could be our dreams, or whatsoever it could be. So we are about to figure out as we go on the speech. So welcome to my TED Talk, which is Untitled by Mithun. Great. So this is the standard question to ask in any of the engineering colleges in India. I believe this is the right question to start with, because as I could see behind me, what do you want to do after completing engineering? So because India is a country where after completing the board exams, the 12th standard for that matter, we don't choose what you want to become. We only by default pick either engineering or doctor streams for that matter, and then we want to think we will take some 4 years to think about what we're going to do about in future. So this is the one question I usually people used to ask me when I was doing my 12th standards or even in my engineering, that what do you want to become in life? I mean, I have came across a lot of people. I have came across a lot of guys in the world where I used to answer that. When I was doing 12th standard or when I was doing college like you guys, I used to answer like, I want to become an entrepreneur, I want to become a startup founder, I want to become a CEO. I mean, and things keep changing. I want to say sometimes that I'm going to change this world. Sometimes I used to say that I'm going to impact through my social activities and entrepreneurship. But then, if the same question has been asked to me today, after 8 years of my experience into building companies from scratch to raising funds from Silicon Valley, my answer would be this, which is, I want to become a failure. You might ask, you may be mad enough to say that you want to become a failure, because all this while, right from my first standard till all this age, my parents or my teachers or whosoever who come in contact with me used to say that, hey, you know what, you want to become this, you want to become that, just follow that guy. The guy next door to is scoring this mark, that mark, and a lot of comparisons here and there. But even I have gone through all of that thing that I'm talking here. But after all the 7 to 8 years of my expertise and experience, I really want to say I want to become a failure. Okay, I will tell you why. I'll tell you how it's gonna help me, figure the narrative, right? Because you see here, I just put together this slide just to give you some perspective into it. Because if you see there, it's never an easy answer for all of us. At the same time, the second question is also this, because if you really ask the answer for this, it's kind of really difficult for us to do. So my understanding about life, my understanding about this is, life doesn't come with one single answer for any such questions. It's not like how exams work. It's not like you prepare something, you write something, you get a mark. It's all about, life gives a lot of options. There is a lot of perspective to one specific problem. There are a lot of perspective to one challenge that we have put into. So that's what I said. Really, I want to become a failure. Let me tell you why and how in the upcoming slides. I want to mark here. I want to make a statement here that maybe exams reward first attempts, but life always reward failed attempts, right? Because that is what I learned. So why I want to become a failure, and why this TED Talk is really in relevance with who I am and what I am today, and why they name it as Redefining, as well as you can pick a different perspective out of the challenges that put into you. You can put a different learning out of the, failures or setbacks that have come into our life. So guys and girls sitting here today, the reason why I'm talking is, please don't look life as, you just go, don't have a perspective like you go to an exam, you write something out of it, and then unfortunately you will get a, pass mark and do something. Life doesn't work like that. Let me tell you a few examples why I want to become a failure. Because it's not honestly, I advise you to become a failure. It's just that there is a shift in perspective. There should be a shift in mindset that after college, or if you want to do something out of your life, you have to have this in mind. So the number one thing is, we all know the company that I'm talking here, right? So basically, we all know this used to be one of the biggest companies of the world that are seen in the recent times. We use it on a daily basis. Everything that we require answers for, we used to get that. But the interesting thing about why I advise us to have a mindset of having a failure is because, if you take this company specifically, they have 299 killed products. It's not one, it's not two, it's not three. They have 299 products. See, there is a specific website for it. You can, Google about it, and then you can, know more about it. So it talks about the mindset, right? It's not like they come one fine day, they build something, they just, boom, they become the successful company in the world. It starts with the mindset of, failing fast. It starts with the mindset of have the, acceptance that certain things didn't work out. It comes with the mindset that you really have to have the, rewiring in your mind that, it's not like you start today and you'll become successful tomorrow. Let me go to one more company for that matter. You all know we used to go there, we sit over there, we drink something, and then we spend a lot of time with our loved ones, right? But then the CEO of that company, Howard Skulls, basically, he didn't, raise funds at his first attempt. Maybe I could have asked to take a wild guess. Even before knowing this, even I was thinking maybe this guy would have reached out to 10 investors or 50 for that matter, and finally he would have cracked something. Because honestly, if it were me, I wouldn't go past 50. But then this fact is very surprising because he has reached out to 242 investors by the time I'm talking here. Like 4 decades ago when the company was just a plan in his head, not 1, not 2, not 50, he went again and then asked about 240 plus people about his dream. He didn't bog down by the failures. He wasn't really given up on his dream. He just went ahead and asked investors about, why don't you fund my dream? Right? So that's what I'm talking. That's exactly what I meant by, you want to become a failure. You need to have that mindset. So there can be n number of examples I can always bring here and talk about it. Even if you'd ask me, I can go on and on about this. But the point is, after, going on this TED Talk, when you go home, probably you can resonate something, and that something should be what I want to believe is, failures are not opposite of success. Failures are part of the success. And if you get bogged down by some failure, please get up and then please keep chasing your dreams. Now, sorry. Now, yeah. Sorry for that. So now sorry for the reveal. So now someone would have, from the audience here, would have got inspired by what I say that I want to become a failure. You would have really, go back to your home and then you start talking to your dad and mom about, hey, you know what, some guy came today in TED Talk. He used to be the startup founder, and he said that I need to really become a failure so that I can become successful in life. So that just allow me for next few years that I will become a failure. If you have this conversation honestly with your dad and mom, what do you think is going to happen today in your home? Honestly, the slides emphasizes and it says everything about it, right? Yes, it did happen to me as well when I completed my college and then I wanted to become a startup founder. They thought really something is wrong with me, and they thought, why don't you go pursue the same path that others are willing to pursue? I said no. I really said no. I just want to do something on my own. I want to build something on my own. So today, if you really believe you want to have build a company, you want to have the mindset of failure, what I would advise is, put your dad in D&D. So do not disturb mode, probably. But, and that doesn't mean that you can go straight to your dad and mom and say that, hey, you know what, I'm going to listen to any of the things that you're going to talk to me. Not like that. Probably what I meant by Deonti is, you can go to them, you can go to your dad and mom, and then you can have the conversation with a cup of coffee, or probably the IPL times are happening. Maybe you can put a good match, and then once it is over, you can say that, hey, dad, hey, mom, I really want to do something on my own. Maybe why don't you give me 6 or 12 months of my time? Probably I can do something on my own. If it doesn't work out, probably I can come back and then do something about what you suggest, or maybe I'll pursue higher studies, or maybe I'll go for a job. So that's exactly what I meant by put your dad in D&D, right? I did the same. I got some time, right? So the thing is, once you got the mindset of you want to become a failure, now let's assume you had the conversation with your dad and mom. Now, what I think is you need to build your FD. Not the usual ones the banks talk about, the fixed deposit, because every time you want to, what I mean by FD, before I go into that is, it's the failure deposit is what I would like to call. Because every time when you fail, every time when your idea, goes out of the toss, you need something to back you, right? Because end of the day, it's not what you dream, it's how exactly your dream is sustainable. How much of costings goes into building something, how much of financials you think about it, right? Because you already put your dad in D and you cannot go back to him and say, you know what, why don't you fund my dreams? That's not how it really works. If you are putting him in D and D, you have to make your own money. You need to know how exactly you can make it. So that's what I meant by FD. So what is FD is not the fixed deposit, as I already said, it's the failure deposit. So how many times or how many months or how many years you can survive on every time you fail is exactly what the failure deposit. I did that when I started building my own startup. What I did, I went to a few people, I gave them sweat equity, I want them to build the company alongside me. At the same time, I was just not focusing on only the product that I'm building alone. I also did freelancing. I also took up certain gig works. I also took up a lot of things that naturally comes to me and instantly that gives me, build the stash, the cash that I'm talking about, right? So the point I would like to bring to every one of you here today is that you have the mindset of becoming a failure, because it's not one attempt where you become a successful. There could be plenty other attempts, as I told other companies or investors for that matter. And the second thing is you have to talk to your dad and mom about your dream and get some plenty and a decent time. And the third thing is please build your FD. It could be anything. You can be a good singer, you can be a good vocal artist, or you're very good at coding, or you're very good at any skill that could be. There are a lot of ways you can capitalize your talent. You can monetize your strength. So probably look in that angle and then start building your FD. Let's say your FD is 1 year. You still have 1 year to test for your dreams and try and see how things work out or didn't work out. And now the interesting part is, let's say you got a FD in your hand, and let's say you followed all the 3 things that I have said. Let's assume for that matter, right? The thing is, you started building a company or anything for that matter, or your business, or any talents that you want to do, especially when it comes to startups. I'm talking here. You have to be a chameleon, right? Because in our culture, in our roots, it will be considered as a negative character. It's a negative trait. I don't want you to, in your core character or in the culture that you build in startup, to be a chameleon. But what I meant by that is, when the market shifts, you need to shift alongside it, right? Because the market keeps changing. The market keeps changing. It's not like, you did something and then you will be successful. So what I meant by that is just 3 things, and then I'll wrap it up. So the number one, what I meant by chameleon is the YouTube that we use today. They started as a dating app, and then they become a video streaming platform today. So ages ago, they were a dating app platform. You can go and Google about it, or you can know about it, right? So because the market demanded them to be a streaming platform, they listened to the market. And the second thing is Samsung. Right now, they're electronics consumer giant for the matter, but then, they started as a grocery sellers. They just started as a grocery seller somewhere in a country, and then they pivoted it to become a consumer electronics giant. So that's exactly what I meant by to become a chameleon, because market demands, you have to deliver what it requires. And the third example is again Netflix. It started selling DVDs early in 90s, and then now it became a streaming platform. They don't stick to the one vertical. They don't stick to or confine themselves to one component. It's about what the market wants, how the technology is changing, how we are evolving. You should listen to that. And if we don't listen to that, if we don't pivot our business idea, we will definitely die over the course of doing it. So what I figured out, it's everything. When you ask me a couple of years ago, like 7 years or 8 years ago, if you ask me would I stand on the stage and give certain type of talk to one of you, so probably I wouldn't imagine that would have happened. But everything is because I learned to figure out as I go. It's not like I came up with a blueprint. So it's all about you learn to figure it out as you go, because life doesn't offer you chances, or something that works for others might not work for you. So my takeaway for today in the TED Talk would be you need to learn to cuddle the chaos, because chaos is exactly where you're gonna thrive. You need to learn to cuddle the chaos, and you need to learn to love the unknown, and probably you need to learn to figure out as you go. So today I've talked about a couple of things here and there with the time I have, but then and again the reason why I titled it as Untitled is because I might not know. Okay. Yeah, thank you. So, I might not know what gonna the topic would be. For somebody it would be put your dad in D&D. For somebody it would be a chameleon. For somebody it could be failure deposit. Any of the things can be the title that resonates with you, because the beauty of this TED Talk as well as life is something works for somebody doesn't mean it works for other person. So whatever resonated you today can be the title of this TED Talk. You can replace it here, but please take away something today so that you can be successful in life sometime later. So again, I'm ending this talk with the tagline: please learn to cuddle the chaos, love the unknown, and then figure it as you go. Thank you so much for your time.